I play Madanga or Kartals? Yeah, whatever you want me to play. Thank you. Oh, the Tilaks. Whatever happened to the Balaram ones? They no longer make them?
No, those are like, they just cost a lot more.
So no one should listen to this Madunga's preaching. What'd you say, they cost more?
Yeah.
Undercut.
It's like one big
And who makes the clay ones? The Muslims? Muslims in Navadvip? We're screwed. What is going to happen? They just play Kartals. 1961. Right. Okay, let's.
one person makes all the
Where did this come from? Ah, we have a traitor. Left. Poison is entered. We're off. Harbo, Larry. Hare Krishna. What do we have in here today? A little bit left. And I'll save you some for tomorrow. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Girivardhari Jashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jasodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Banachariya Yamunatira Vanajari Vanajari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Girivardhara Yashodanandana Bhajajanaranyano Bhajajanara Yashodanandana Bhajajanaranyano Bhajajanaranyana Jamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Sri Radha Madhava ki Sri Radha Giridhari ki Go Premanande Jayo Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikachaja Shodhara Sri Mahad His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai Karantara srimadbhagavatam ki jai Samveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai Go Premanandi All glories to the assembled devotees All glories to the assembled devotees All glories to the assembled devotees All glories Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Mama Shivaraya Gaccham Sthaivale Shivadi Bhaktivedanta Gauravani Purajadini Nivasheshu Shunnivari Vasyajadish So this morning, reading from the third canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 31, text 44. Were you in class yesterday? What was class? You were cooking. Were you in class yesterday?
Yeah, we were all cooking. We were all cooking.
What was class about yesterday?
One of the main things that Balaram said was that we can be quick to criticize others and not as quick to pray for others. I think that was one of the main points. And that be a refresher on the rest. That's the big thing I took away from it.
Okay. Can you hear it in the kitchen?
Yeah, but it doesn't. It's not really that clear. It kind of sounds like in a cave, like a weird.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this morning, text 44. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskritam Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamadiyadayat. So text 44. Jiva yasanugo deho bhutendriya manomayaha tannirodhosya maranam avirbhavastu sambhavaha jiva yasyanugo deho Bhutendriya manomayaha tannirodhosya maranam avirbhavastu sambhavaha jiva yasyangunugo deho Bhutendriya manomaya Tannirodhosya maranam avirbhavastu sambhavaha. You like to chant? Jivo yasyanugo deho Bhutendriya manomaya Tannirodhosya maranam Avirbhavastu sambhavaha. Jivo yasyanugo deho bhutendriya manomaya tannirodosya maranam avirbhavastu sambhava. Damodar. Jivo yasyanugo deho bhutendriya manomaya tannirodosya maranam avirbhavastu sambhava. Mukunda. Jivo yasyanugo deho bhutendriya manomaya tannirodosya maranam avirbhavastu sambhava.
Jivo yasyanugo deho
Jivo yasyanugo deho
bhutendriya manomaya
bhutendriyo manomaya
nirodhosya maranam
tannirodosya maranam
avirbhavastu sambhava.
avirbhavastu sambhava.
Jivo yasyanugo deho bhutendriya manomaya tannirodhosya maranam
Avirbhavastu sambhava. Synonyms. Jivaha, the living entity. He, indeed. Asya, of him. Anugaha, suitable. Deha, body. Bhutaha, gross material elements. Indriya, senses. Manaha, mind. Mayaha, made of. Tat, of the body. Nirodha, destruction. Asya, of the living entity. Maranam, death. Avirbhavaha, manifestation. Two, but. Sambhavaha, birth. Okay. Hey, Damodar Prabhu, could you open that door just a little bit? Necesito un poco aire fresca. That's good. There's a little fresh air in here. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. In this way, the living entity gets a suitable body with a material mind and senses according to his fruit of activities. When the reaction of his particular activity comes to an end, that end is called death. And when a particular type of reaction begins, that beginning is called birth. Please repeat. In this way, the living entity gets a suitable body with a material mind and senses according to his fruit of activities. When the reaction of his particular activity comes to an end, that end is called death. And when a particular type of reaction begins, that beginning is called birth. Purport. From time immemorial, what does immemorial mean? Yeah, just so far back. The living entity travels in different species of life and the different planets almost perpetually. This process is explained in Bhagavad Gita, Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yanturdhani Maya, 18th chapter, 61st verse. Under the spell of Maya, everyone is wandering throughout the universe on the carriage of the body offered by the material energy. Materialistic life involves a series of actions and reactions. It is a long film spool of actions and reactions, and one lifespan is just a flash in such a reactionary show. When a child is born, it is to be understood that his particular type of body is the beginning of another set of activities, and when an old man dies, it is to be understood that one set of reactionary activities is finished. We can see that because of different reactionary activities, one man is born in a rich family and another is born in a poor family, although both of them are born in the same place at the same moment and in the same atmosphere. One who is carrying pious activity with him is given a chance to take his birth in a richer pious family, and one who is carrying impious activity is given a chance to take birth in a lower poor family. The change of body means a change to a different field of activities. Similarly, when the body of the boy changes into that of a youth, the boyish activities change into youthful activities. It is clear that a particular body is given to the living being for a particular type of activity. This process is going on perpetually from a time which is impossible to trace out. Vaishnava poets say therefore anadi karma pale, which means that these actions and reactions of one's activity cannot be traced, for they may even continue from the last millennium of Brahma's birth to the next millennium. We have seen the example in the life of Narada Muni. In one millennium he was the son of a maidservant, and in the next millennium he became a great sage. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksul Ulminitam Dena Taismai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhanjika Badrubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patidanam Bhavani Bho Vaishnavi Bho Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. In this way, the living entity gets a suitable body with a material mind and senses according to his fruit of activities. When the reaction of his particular activity comes to an end, that end is called death, and when a particular type of reaction begins, that beginning is called birth. So there's 2 points made in this verse. One is that the body we have, it's our creation, you could say. We're responsible for it. If you don't like it, well, there's no one to complain to, right? Because it says here, we get the body according to our own fruit of activities. It's kind of like, you ever have Mr. Potato Man? Remember that? They still have those, right? Yeah. Mr. Potato Man. So I guess you have different varieties of eyes and noses, and that's the whole thing. You can put different faces on it and different ears and so on, right? So you're the one who creates what Mr. Potato Man's going to look like, right? You're the one who chooses all those things. So even though Krishna fulfills our desires, it's due our own past fruit of activities that we have the particular body we're in and the particular mix of happiness and distress. So why do people complain? Why do they blame their parents or blame God for their particular situation? It's quite interesting, isn't it? They always want to blame someone else. But actually, we're completely responsible for the suitable body we have with the material mind and senses. We've created it. So that's one point. Then the other point here is understanding of how these bodies come and go. What we call birth and what we call death. Sometimes, not all the time, so-and-so, he died of. What's one example? Cancer. Someone died of cancer. The big C, right? I remember when John Wayne was going through his struggle with cancer. Then finally it came out. The Duke was licked by the big C. That was his nickname, the Duke, the big hero. But actually, cancer got him. What's another way people die?
Get shot.
Get shot. Living out in the country, he's got to watch out for those kind of things, right? How about you? What's your choice? How do you want to go? Too many pakoras? That can happen. There's a story where there's a devotee in Laguna Beach. They were using peanut oil, like that. And Prabhupada was there. And it was brought up. Because they didn't have much money, they weren't using ghee. And they asked Prabhupada what he thought about it. Prabhupada said, Then Prabhupada said, I knew one man who used to eat pakoras cooked in peanut oil. Prabhupada said he died. Now at the end of the conversation, the devotee stopped using peanut oil to cook for the deities. Then Prabhupada said, he died. Like that. So that was how Prabhupada answered that question about whether to use peanut oil or not for the deities. So he died. Okay. How about you, Damodar Prabhu? What's one, you hear of someone dying? How do people die? What causes their death? In other words, the cause of death, right? Just like you can't cremate someone or bury them until you have a doctor sign off. Cause of death. You know, so what's another cause of death, as they say? Just old age. Sometimes it's called natural causes, right? Just natural causes. Prabhu, what's the one way of dying? SanDiego flu. Okay. Balaram. Car accident. Right, so these are all causes of death, but what's saying here, these aren't the causes of death. What the real cause of death is there's a certain amount of fruitive activity, then when it's over, the circumstances there, oh, the SanDiego flu got him, or Pakora's got him, or he got shot in the head, but actually that's not the cause of death. That's just the circumstances that the living entity exits the body. But the reason he's exiting the body is described here. When a particular reactionary activities come to an end, that's called death. In other words, that's the amount of time he's been given to stay in this particular body, to suffer some karma, and to try to enjoy in a particular way. There's a mix of the two, happiness and distress, trying to enjoy and suffering, right? And birth simply means, oh, it's starting up again, right? It's a new, just like you... a new car, or new clothes, something new, right? Oh, this is like that. Or a new house you move into, right? Or you get a new mat upstairs. Oh, my old mat's burned out. I get to sleep on a new mat. So a whole new life has begun, right? Like that. So that's what is described here. And that's what it's marking, like that. That's the real cause of why a living entity takes birth on a particular day and gets a body. There's a whole new set he's created for himself. Now it's time for this set of actions to unfold, and then when it's all over, just like money, there's that song by Willie Nelson, right? That if you got the money, honey, I got the time. You hear that song, right? If you got the money, honey, I got the time. So let's go out on the town. As long as the money lasts, let's have a good time. But sooner or later, the money's going to run out. Then the night's over, the fun's over, right? So we have a certain amount of currency. Our previous karma, right, Damodar? You can stand up if you like. I won't be offended. You can stand up if you need to. We have a certain amount, and then when it runs out, it's over. It's called antakale chamameva in Bhagavad Gita. At the end of the time, we have a certain amount of time, and when it's over, it's over. There's not anything you can do about it. Prabhu, I knew one man in India. He was on his deathbed, and he kept asking the doctors, can you give me 4 more years? He probably refers to this in his writing. 4 more years. I need 4 more years to get everything together for my family, like that, before I die. And the doctor couldn't give him 1 more moment. What can the doctor do? You can't, right? They can't. If it's your time to go, it's your time to go. And there's nothing they can do about it. You know, sometimes people say this, and they say that, and they say this. It's like my younger brother, he passed away in SanDiego about 11 years ago. And it was complications from an operation on a brain tumor. But the doctors didn't do any scans on him for like 6 months or something like that. So there's some thought of negligence on part of the doctors like that, because he was complaining, they didn't do it. And finally they found a tumor the size of like a grapefruit in his head or something like that and had to remove it. But his family, his wife and their siblings, they wanted to just like sue the hell out of Kaiser and this and that and everything like that. And my parents said, just that's it. That was his time. Just let it go, like that. Just let it go. What can you do? In other words, what's that going to help? When you're gone, you're gone. When your time's up, your time's up. Right? So this verse in the Bhagavad Gita, 1861. Ishwara sarvabhutanam hrideshe arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yanturdhani maya. That's kind of explaining what's the complete picture. That the Supreme Lord, Ishwara, sarvabhutanam, Krishna's in the heart. People don't even perceive that. Krishna's in the heart of all living entities. Hrideshe, he's in the heart. Arjuna tishtati, brahmayan sarvabhutani, and he's directing the wanderings of all living entities. And those living entities, what are they doing in this material world? Yanturdhani maya. Prabhu says here in the purport, they're resting upon a carriage or a body. We're resting in this body made of material energy. It's an interesting concept. And most people think, I am this body. But that's like saying when you get into, what kind of car do you drive for Sankirtan? No? Caravan. So if you start thinking, I am a caravan, I'm the caravan, that's insane, right? So we're just as insane because we're thinking, I am this particular body. And Krishna's saying here, no, that's not what's going on. You're resting on the body. It's a machine. And you've been given that machine due to your past karma. And the bonus is false ego. Guess what? You get to identify with it. Can you imagine if I gave you a drug and you identified with the caravan? I'm a caravan, right? He comes back from Sankirtan. I'm a caravan. He says, I'm a caravan. Like, what did you have for lunch? I'm a caravan. It's like, call a doctor. He's insane. He thinks he's his car. But we all think we're our car. We all think we're the body. So who's crazy? But the actual situation, this is knowledge, Krishna's saying here, it's the verse. Ishvara Sarbud Hirdesha Arjuna Tishta. Krishna's in the heart. If Krishna's not in the heart, we wouldn't be able to do anything. How we cannot? The jiva is a spirit soul. He doesn't know how to move or operate matter. So the soul has to be accompanied by the super soul. And the soul says, hey, Krishna, I want to do this. Okay, I'll make the arrangement for you. Like that. Instantaneously. But there's a caveat. Krishna says, whatever you do, there's a reaction. Right? That's another teaching in the Bhagavad Gita. There's a reaction. But this has been going on since time immemorial. And Prabhu gives the example here from Hollywood. What's the example from Hollywood? The spool, the movie, film, right? There's that one painting in the Bhagavad Gita. All film is made up of all these little segments, right? And it's just like the animation used to be, go brrrr, and you can actually see that it looks like the person's running or something like that. So the same thing, every moment is there, and because it's running through the machine, it looks like there's actually some activity. So we've been, Prabhupada says that it's just like one life is just like a flash in the reactionary spool of the whole movement, of the whole show. Prabhupada calls it a show. It's been going on, it's a long one. What's some of the longest movies?
4 hours.
Like 4 hours or something, sometimes long. So, wait. But this has been going on since time immemorial. Like that. So, just like in a Shakespearean play, usually how many acts are there? 6. Like that's not too many. It's not like there's 50 or 60. Right? There's a few acts, right? But how many acts? Every lifetime's like a different act. So how many times do we have to go through this? It's a long show. And every jiva is going through. Here's the human show. What's the next one? Oh, I'm an oak tree. What's the next one? I'm a worm in stool. What's the next one? I'm an eagle. What's the next one? It's like that's what's happening. Every species is a show. And Prabhupada says even in this lifetime, you have the kiddie show, the baby show, right? As we've been hearing, Lord Kapila, you got the baby show, you got the little kid show, you got the youth show, you got the adult, and then the middle age, and then you got the old man show, old woman show, then you got the dying person show. And these are all different shows. And then it keeps going on. There's a little recess, little commercial by Yamaraj, right? And then you start up again, right? And then you just start up again. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. And Prabhupada later on in the purport, he quotes, actually, this is the first few words of a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this Anadi Karma Pale. He said, due to my past fruitive activities, I have fallen into this great ocean of nescience, and I do not find any means of getting out. Day and night my heart burns from the poison of these worldly activities, and so my mind is not at all satisfied. So he goes on just explaining how just this life of material existence goes on and on and on and on and on without any end in sight. So what's happened to us? That's the good fortune of the Vaishnava. Somehow or other, Krishna and the devotees come into someone's life, and there's an awakening of the intelligence, and one can start seeing things as they are. Like that. But it's a very, very big ocean, and we're just barely getting our head above water. Like that. So you have to be careful, don't fall back in. Be careful not to fall back in. So it's what they call it, mind expanding. how, Prabhupada uses the expression spot life. You'll hear this, spot life. Like that, just like you look on a paper and you see a little period, punta, little period, like the little spot. So Prabhupada says our life is as insignificant like that. He says we think this spot life is everything. It's just like children, they think time, as you age, according to how long you've been in a particular body, time takes a different feature. So you notice like little children, like you go on a trip with them, they freak out, like after 15, 20 minutes. What do they always ask? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? It's like, you take that same trip when you're 20 or 25 or 30, it's like nothing. But when you're a little kid, it's just like, wow. Why is that? Because you've only been in that body for a few years, but when you've been in the body for 20, 30 years, half hour, an hour, or 2 hours, it doesn't matter. It doesn't seem that long, but when you're a little kid, it seems so long, right? Or just like when you're not interested in something. It seems so long. And then the same thing, if you're interested, where did all the time go? So this is it's all very, very relative. So this particular life, in the eyes of a self-realized soul, it is so short that Prabhupada would say, why not just give this one life to Krishna? And we're thinking, that's all I got. I don't know about that one, right? People hear that for the first time. I don't know about that. I got a lot of plans. I got a lot of things going on. Give my life to Krishna, this one life to Krishna. It's like a little hard to relate to. But someone who can actually see like this, what's one life? I mean, we've had millions of ones before this, and if we want, we can have millions of ones after this. But the interesting thing, not interesting, the significant thing is one life to Krishna, then you finish it all. It's done. You go back home, back to Godhead. Would you give one life to Krishna, and then it's done. No more karma. You go back home, back to Godhead. You don't have to stay here.
So this is the only life I got then?
Well, hopefully. If you give it could be your last one, let us pray. It's our last life in this material world. So that's the point. It's that, and I think it's in the following purports also, that people are enjoying this material world and they have no ambition to get out. They have no ambition to get out. There's a graphic example given, I think in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that just like a worm in a stool, you take the worm out, set it down, it crawls right back in. It just crawls right back in. Like that. So, material world, we just don't want to end it. Somehow or other, I was just in a lecture the other day, it was interesting. Bhaktividya Purnima was talking about misapplication of the Karma Kanda section of the Vedas. They say we're eternal, and if we can keep performing pious activities eternally, then we can always enjoy. Right? If you're pious and you go to the heavenly abodes and you keep performing pious activities there, you just stay there and you're eternal and you can eternally enjoy in this material world. But they forget what happens, like Maharaj Nigra. He forgot, right? He made some mistake and then he came back as a lizard, and it's how you can't maintain that. But that's their idea. Their misunderstanding of karma kanda is that, yes, you perform pious activities and you live forever and you just keep performing pious activities and you can enjoy in this material world forever. So even those who have Vedic knowledge, they misunderstand and they make a foolish mistake. So the whole point is, yes, this is going on perpetually and we're all suffering and we should get out. That we should get out. But no, let's keep making plans. Let's keep making plans. Lord Brahma's got a plan. What's Lord Brahma's plan? He's got a real big plan. What's his plan? The whole universe, right? Got the whole universe. That's a big plan. Then you got the ant. What's his plan? Or her plan? A little sugar. Get a little sugar. Make a little ant condo. About that big, you know. Right? A little something. Right? That's it. But everyone's got the plan. What's the difference between Brahma's plan of the whole universe and the ant's plan for a little pile of dirt with a hole in it and some sugar? Is there really any difference in the consciousness? No. It's just according to the body. Right? Brahma has a body which he can actually, his level of control expands to the whole universe. You know, just like we all have human bodies here, right? But, you know, it can be someone sitting right over there. And based on their intelligence and karma, they can be a Bill Gates and running a whole huge business and industry and so on, right? And someone else, they can barely, drive a taxi or Uber or something like that, right? Same kind, but because there's a difference in the brain and what have you. So it depends on the body. So the point is, the material nature is always offering. That's one thing we have to be careful. Maya is always offering something. Just like if you ever go to a timeshare presentation, right? So you go to a timeshare presentation, they do the spiel, and you say, no, I'm not interested. Then, okay, then they call number 2 in, and they give you another offer. You say, no, I'm not interested. And they call it 3. Right? They always like bring it down, bring it down, bring it. They got to sell you something. Or just like when you try to buy a car. Right? I don't know. Okay, the guy comes in and says, oh, bring it. Right? They got to offer you something. They're going to try to hook you with something. So Maya always has an offering. Always has an offering. Like that. Oh, okay, how about this? How about this? How about this? Because we all have our, what's the word? We all have a price. Breaking point or price. Unless you're a pure devotee, unless we're a pure devotee, we have a price, we have a breaking point. And we have to be very careful because Maya knows what it is. She's got that card right there. So be very, very careful because it just goes on and on. Perpetual means it just goes on and on and on. Because we want it to go on and on and on. Just like they sometimes interview thieves, right? And they always say the same thing. You can't cheat someone. You can't cheat anyone unless they want to be cheated. You can't do that. These scammers and all that, what do you call them? Grafters, scammers. You can't cheat someone unless they want to be cheated. Right? So we make it very easy for Maya because I never looked at it that way. I never thought of this. Right? Because as long as we have that idea, I'll enjoy the material world. Maya has I have just the plan for you. Just the plan for you. And that's what it is, in birth after birth after birth. When the devotee says, I don't really have a plan, I'm not interested, I just don't have a plan for this place. Maya says, okay. I don't have a plan anymore. I just don't have any more plans. So Maya backs off. She's just checking on behalf of Krishna, because Prabhupada says Maya's duty is to make sure no one comes and bothers Krishna. Like that. Either here or in the spiritual world. That's her business. She makes sure no one bothers Krishna. Just like, I'll end with this, a big businessman, someone owns a business, they always have a secretary. They're called a gatekeeper sometimes. Why is that? They got to make sure no one bothers the boss. Oh, I got a deal for you. No, I'm sorry, you have an appointment, you come back tomorrow. They make sure no one bothers the boss. That's their job. They're the gatekeeper, like that. So Maya is the gatekeeper. That's why one reason she's called Durga. That. She's a gatekeeper. She has to make sure no one's going to bother Krishna like that with just nonsense like that. Just create a scene. Just like sometimes in the temple, someone comes in and they create a scene. It's like, oh boy, here we go again, right? You got to get the person out of here. Create a scene like that. So we don't want that. You show up in the spiritual world, all the coward boys say, hey, let's go. And Zach goes, I ate too much last night. I can't go today. It's like, you create a scene. What? Right? So our heart has to be completely pure. So there's a few thoughts on this verse here. And then it continues tomorrow. You're doing tomorrow, Balaram? You have 45 and 46, and then the next one. Okay, any questions or comments on this point of what actually is birth and death and why we have these material bodies and whatever else was said? Any questions or comments? Yes? Just thoughtful, Okay. Just things to think about on a daily basis, like that. The actual. And that's why they say you have to be very careful about associating with materialistic people, because they don't see this at all. They don't see it. Materialistic person means I am this body, I'm trying to enjoy in this material world. And that's contaminating. And therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was asked, what is a Vaishnava? What is a symptom of Vaishnava? Well, the first thing he said was, a Vaishnava is one who gives up the association of non-devotees. You have to be very, very careful. Don't give them your association. I mean, don't take their association. You give them your association. But be very, very careful. And because that Maya is very, very strong. Yes, Prabhu.
Is there a difference between trying to enjoy the material world and trying to enjoy say you want to enjoy spiritual happiness, but you still are wanting to have an enjoyment in this material world. Is it the same as wanting to enjoy that material, the material world?
Well, what you said in your first part of the statement would be something called Mishra Bhakti. You want to be happy in this world as a devotee. It's called Mishra. You got a mix there. There's a mix there. Happiness, doing what I like to do, and some Krishna consciousness, and so on and so on. That's not pure. Pure devotional service is I just want to be a servant of Krishna, and you're not really thinking about your own happiness at all. And it's not that you're suffering. You just don't think about it. You're completely realized in your experiences. Krishna will take care of everything, and I'm just so happy being a devotee. There's no plan. Whereas a mixed devotee, he's got some plans, but he's also a devotee. He's also devoted. Like the demigods is an example given. They're all very pious. They believe in Krishna. They worship Krishna. But they got some plans. They got some plans. Just like one example given in the Bhagavatam, very significant. There was some big battle, and I forget who was fighting who. I think it was just before the ocean of milk was being churned or something. But Lord Vishnu shows up. He says, I'll solve the problem, the big fight between the demigods and the demons. He says, I'll solve everything. But I have a question for you, my dear demigods. Anyone who wants to go back to Godhead right now, I'll take them. And no one came forward. He said, I'm offering it. And not one demigod said, I'll go. They're so attached. Okay. Okay, and then Krishna went and fought and killed the demons and reestablished the heavenly planets for them. But it's an interesting point. He said, I'll take you back to Godhead right now. And they're all looking at each other like, you go. I'm not going to go. Because they're devotees. Krishna's right in front saying, come on, let's go. I got a few things I want to enjoy in the material world. So that's Mishra Bhakti. Hope that answered your question. Yes.
Demigods are lining up to take birth in Kali Yuga. Where does that come from? How does that
That's in the 5th canto.
And but then how does that balance with the other thing that they don't exactly want to go back home?
Not all demigods. Not all demigods. It doesn't say every single demigod. Demigods, intelligent ones, understand.
So some do want to go back to Godhead and they take birth here.
Yeah. It's not every single demigod is lining up like that. So, but the intelligent ones are. They say, wow, this is Kali Yuga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. This is unbelievable. Just like during Chaitanya Lila, so many demigods were coming and offering prayers. And that's like they say, that procession in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, the procession to the Kazi, Vrindavan Das Thakur says there are millions of people. He says if you doubt that number, you'll fall down. But what it is so many demigods just joined and took in the shape of human beings. They just joined. And there's so many torches that when they all lit the torches, it was like daylight. But that's how it's described in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. So many demigods, whenever Krishna comes, Krishna Lila, Chaitanya Lila, the demigods are coming, they're taking advantage of offering so many prayers, joining in the Sankirtan. Very intelligent demigods. Those are very intelligent ones. But not everyone. Some will say, it's nice, but I got things going on. I'll come to the festival some other time. Like that. So we can end here. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Where are you, my friend?